These plans clearly violate Section 3B of the covenants. You can't build that structure there.
Ma'am, I assure you, as the consulting engineer, we are fully compliant.
I woke up to the sound of plastic snapping in the cold air and the smell of fresh asphalt drifting through my open window. It was early, just after the sprinklers shut off, and my coffee was still too hot to drink. I opened my front door and froze. My entire sidewalk was shrink-wrapped in paper like a crime scene. Page after page was taped, layered, and plastic covered across the concrete in front of my house. On top, in big red letters, it said, "Notice of violation." I counted the pages. 63. My HOA posted 63 pages on my sidewalk, and scribbled in the margin in blue ink was the line they love to use, "Rules are rules." I bent down, the cold plastic crinkling under my fingers, and started reading. Illegal trash can placement. Hairline crack in the driveway. Kayak visible from the street. Grass higher than 2 inches near the mailbox. There were 11 separate complaints, going back weeks, and I had only moved in on May 3, 2024. At 9:00 a.m. I walked to the HOA office clutching the packet. The lobby smelled like burnt coffee and lemon cleaner. The president, Linda, looked up from her keyboard with that tight smile. I asked why no one had talked to me first. She didn't blink. "You signed the rules," she said. "Rules are rules." A neighbor walking by caught my eye, then looked away fast, like even eye contact with me might get him fined. I tried again that night at the board meeting. Folding chairs. Fluorescent lights. A sad plate of cookies. When I spoke, the board didn't interrupt, but they didn't listen either. I said the crack in the driveway was there when I bought the house. I said the trash cans had nowhere else to go. I said taping harassment to a public sidewalk was not exactly neighborly. Linda leaned forward, her HOA badge shining. "We have a process," she said. "If you don't pay, we put a lien on your home." The room went quiet. People shifted in their chairs. One woman mouthed sorry to me, but stayed silent. That was my line in the sand. I walked out into the cool night air and made a promise to myself. I wouldn't yell. I wouldn't vandalize. I would use the proper channels, and I would use every one of them. Back home, I cleared my kitchen table. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. My engineer brain clicked into place. I wasn't just some random homeowner. Before I ever thought about living here, I helped design this subdivision. 10 years ago, fresh out of school, I was the junior engineer of record on the street layout and drainage plans. My name and license number were stamped on the original drawings. When I bought the house, it was a fun fact. Now it was a weapon. I started digging. I requested copies of the HOA's bylaws and amendments. I noticed they had built a decorative wall that pushed the sidewalk inward and jammed a steel sign into what looked like public right-of-way. Every change like that was supposed to have sign-off from the engineer of record or a new engineer. They had never called me. The next step was paper. Real, official paper. I went down to the city planning office, where everything smells like dust and toner. At the clerk's counter, the subdivision file landed with 63 pages of old plans, approvals, and notes. My name was on the cover sheet in bold. I flipped through and found the easement map. The wall the HOA built cut straight across a drainage easement and narrowed the sidewalk past code minimum. I built a clean, simple record. Timeline item 1 April 5 at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. That was when Linda had called security because my brother was unloading boxes from my truck. There were 3 more calls after that, all bogus. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. I filed a complaint with City Code Enforcement and copied the fire marshal and the ADA compliance office. I attached photos of my sidewalk covered in tape notices, blocking the path. I was careful, calm, and absolutely detailed. 2 weeks later, the board called an emergency compliance review meeting. They thought they were putting me on trial. Word got around, and by 6:00 p.m. the room was packed. Neighbors stood in the back, some with phones already out, recording. A city inspector sat in the front row with a clipboard, and next to him was the city engineer. He plugged a laptop into the projector, and the lights dimmed. The first slide was the original subdivision plan, 15 feet wide on the wall. In the bottom corner, in sharp black ink, was my name and engineer stamp. The city engineer turned to me. "We've confirmed the original engineer is present," he said. "Would you walk us through the non-compliant work?" I walked to the front. I pointed out the illegal wall, the narrowed sidewalk, the sign driven into public right-of-way, the blocked drainage. Then I flipped to screenshots of the HOA's own rules saying no items may obstruct any sidewalk at any time, next to photos of my sidewalk buried under their 63-page notice. Linda's face went pale. Someone in the back whispered, "Wait, he's their engineer?" The room buzzed. The inspector spoke next. The HOA was cited for multiple code violations. They were ordered to remove the wall, move the sign, restore the sidewalk to full width, and clear the drainage easement. The city also flagged their pattern of harassing notices as a potential abuse of authority. The fines on the HOA started at $10,000, with more added if they delayed. Every single violation they had pinned on me was voided on the spot. When Linda tried to argue, the city engineer cut her off. "You've been making changes without any engineering review," he said. Then he pointed back at my name on the screen. "You should have started here." Phones were up. People were filming. I saw one neighbor hiding a smile behind his hand. In the days after, the videos spread. Someone posted a clip of the meeting online, titled "HOA Karen Screams at Engineer, Forgets He Designed Her Neighborhood." The comments were brutal and funny. Neighbors who had once avoided me now waved when I walked past. Crews came out with jackhammers to tear down the decorative wall. The air filled with the sharp smell of cut concrete. Kids watched from their bikes, laughing every time a chunk of wall hit the ground. The HOA had to send a letter to every home canceling my fines, apologizing for improper enforcement, and promising new training. A month later, at the annual meeting, Linda sat in the back row while a new president was elected. The new board passed a simple motion: notices must be mailed or hand-delivered, and sidewalks are never to be used as bulletin boards or weapons. These days, my mornings are quiet again. I drink my coffee, walk on a clear sidewalk, and listen to kids ride their scooters through the now open path I once drew on a screen. Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.